they're failures because they haven't figured out how to make $1 million in their 20s. Well, you were just 18. Hey guys, it's Jennifer Renee, and I am here with another YouTube video. And today we're going to talk about whose timeline are you on? That's right, whose timeline are you living your life by? We're going to go over societal pressures and how it's crippling for your growth. A lot of times society places these numerical timelines on us. By 20, you should be here. By 30, you should already be in your career and thriving. By 40, you should be settling down and you should already have your family. By 50, you should be thinking about retirement. Well, what happens if I live to 80 or 90? Did my life just stop at 50? When we buy into these societal pressures, it causes a lot of stress and anxiety because I see a lot of young 20-year-olds feeling like they're failures because they haven't figured out how to make $1 million in their 20s. Well, you were just 18. I know when I was 18, yes, technically we're considered an adult by society standards, but I felt nowhere close to adulthood. Matter of fact, I probably didn't finally start feeling like an adult till I was 25. Like I kind of finally figured out life a little bit. And by 30, I was just now owning who I was. So you have to remember, everybody develops and grows at their own pace. And if we all listen to what society says, we'll end up in situations and circumstances that we never was prepared for or we truly didn't want for ourselves. But we feel like because of the pressure, we have to force it to happen. How many people know people who've gotten married and they really didn't love the person or they really weren't even ready to settle down? But because society says, oh, you need to go sit down and start a family or you need to go and have a baby, they went and did it. And now they're living with regret. You don't want that for yourself. You want to be able to be in control of your own journey. You also experience feelings of unworthiness. Because if you're not thriving in your career by 30, but you're looking at your peers and you're looking at everyone else being successful around you, you now feel unworthy. So then you begin to stop growing. You stop growing because you feel like, well, I already failed at having a thriving career in my 30s. So should I even keep trying or do I just accept what's in front of me? And the truth of the matter is you're having resentment towards the fact that you didn't achieve that goal. But that's, again, pressure that you're putting on yourself. And now you stop growing because you feel like, well, what's the point? I'm going to just settle with this job that I have right now, even though I'm not happy with it. Even though I know I saw myself being a banker or I saw myself owning my own profession, but I'm already past 30, so is it really gonna happen? Or I'm already in my 50s, do I really wanna take that risk? Age is just a number. You should not set your life timeline based on your age. It's okay to have goals by a certain age. But hey, if it doesn't happen in chronological order, does it mean that it's never gonna happen? No. The only way you can guarantee 100% that your goals are not gonna happen is if you stop trying. Do you really think God put us here to figure out our lives between the ages of 20 and 40? Do you really think God said, okay, I'm gonna create humans, I'm gonna create man, and I'm gonna put them on this earth and they have 20 years to figure it out. Go. That's ridiculous. So why do we listen to society tell us that between the ages of 20 and 40, you better have all of your life figured out? It doesn't even make sense. In your 20s, you're still trying to figure out who you are. By the time you finally figure out who you are, you hit your 30s. And now you're probably in a career that wasn't even chosen by you. So now you have a choice. Do I stay in this path or do I decide that I'm gonna create my own path? Some people are still growing and maturing in their 30s. Some people are still trying to figure it out. What about the ones who got married young and now they're in their 40s and they're divorced, or got married young and now their kids are grown and they never had the opportunity to put themselves first, or they never had the opportunity to really think about what they want. So now they're in their 40s, just now figuring out who they are, just now defining what they want for themselves. And you mean to tell me that they're unworthy? That they're not significant? No. The true person who has the blueprint is God, because he knew us before we were ever in our mother's womb. He knew what the plans were for our lives before we ever had goals. So if you truly want to know how to get to where you're trying to go and get clarity on your journey, then what I would do, honestly, is I would start talking to God. I will go in prayer and I will ask God, show me the plans that you have for my life. Show me the blueprint that you created me for. Prayer really is a navigator to help guide you, because the truth of the matter is your destiny was already written and where you're supposed to be is already ordained. But you do need two indicators for yourself in order to really tap in. You need to have desire and you need to have vision. Desire is the things that has already been placed inside of you by God. So if you were little and you always loved to dance and that desire never left you, then chances are somewhere along the line, your destiny, your purpose is attached to dance. The other thing is vision. You have to be able to see yourself out dancing. You have to be able to see yourself owning a dance studio. And you might not know all the in-betweens, the how, the when, the where, but the desire is there and the vision is there. So if you know that you want to start a nonprofit and the desire to always help people, and you just remember being little, seeing homeless people and wanting to help them, or seeing, mothers who with children and having a desire to want to help or reach out or give something to them. And you always saw a vision of you running a facility that helps single moms or that helps people in need. That is vision. You have to see yourself already there. You're going to have glimpses of things that come to you. And these are all given by God. He puts the desire in you and he places the visions before you. Sometimes these visions come in dreams. Sometimes these visions are you just spacing out and daydreaming. And sometimes it comes in a prophetic word where people will say, hey, I can see you doing this. Or, hey, I can see you running your own restaurant. That's the way you know that the vision is there. Now, oftentimes the vision gets distorted or it gets blurry when we begin to tune it out. When we begin to say, oh, it's not going to happen for me, or I see it, but man, people like me, no, people like you deserve to live the life that you want as well. People like you deserve to create things for yourself, have entrepreneurial opportunities. I'll share a story with you. I had always saw myself going to college when I was younger. I saw myself graduating, and I just knew if there was nothing else I was going to do, I was going to graduate. My mother was the first to graduate out of her siblings, and I wanted to be so much like my mother in that regard. I wanted to make sure that I too graduated so that I can set the same example for my children. When I went to college, right, I literally had A's and B's in high school. I was on honor roll. I had AP classes. I mean, I really was locked in and focused. I even asked some of my counselors and advisors to help me get into college and to help me figure out what are the steps, because I just knew this was the next path for me. So when I got into college and I was taking my classes, I made it all the way through my junior year. And then all of a sudden I got hit with a huge notice. And the notice said that if I do not pay $13,000 by the end of the year, I have to withdraw. Now, guys, I was devastated. Because again, I always saw myself graduating from college. I worked really hard through high school to make sure I had grades to get into college. Not only that, I was taking summer classes so I could finish on time, because I would always hear people saying oh, I was in college for 5 years or 6 years or 7. I said, no, I'm gonna finish in 4. So I did all the things I was supposed to do And I still had to leave school. Y'all, I had to literally leave my junior year. Can you imagine having 3 years down and one more to go? And because you don't have the finances, not because you weren't smart enough, not because, you didn't do what you needed to do, but because you didn't have the finances. So I had to sit out and I didn't know what to do next, because it's not like I was going to come up with the money anytime soon. I was a college student. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a store called BB and I was working at a men's suit store, just trying to pay for my books and pay for my food and any other little expenses that I had. So how in the world was I going to come up with this $13,000 for just this one semester? I still was going to have a bill at the end of my senior year if I continued out. So y'all, I really was like, I was so down and I felt unworthy. Because I'm watching the rest of my friends and the people I came to college with go off and they're going to their senior year. And I have to sit out and I have to go find a job and figure out what's going to be next for me. That changed my whole direction. But I didn't let it stop me. Instead, I went in and I literally talked to God. I said, God, I know this is not the path that you have for me. I know you call me for so much higher, but I need a blueprint. I need a strategy on how can I get back in school, even if I don't have the money. Long story short, I was able to, someone helped me, okay? They helped me navigate through that, gave me some resources. I applied to another school, I got in, and I was able to finish out. But it took me, I was out for an additional year or 2, okay? So I didn't finish on my timeline, but I graduated. And when I walked across that stage, y'all, when I walked across that stage, you couldn't tell me nothing, because I was owed that opportunity. I was owed that honor. I was owed that certificate because I had worked so hard and I did not let my personal timeline stop me. I did not let societal pressure get in my mind. I didn't allow the triumph and the trials that I was facing at the time. I didn't let it take me under like a current. Instead, I said, God, give me the blueprint. And he gave me not only the blueprint, but he brought me the people and the resources that I need to get back into school and to finish. And so now I graduated. Okay, I graduated, I got my degree, and I'm like, okay, on to the next. And I took that mentality and I applied it through the next chapters of my life. So whenever I felt stuck, whenever I felt like, okay, God, this isn't life isn't navigating the way that it should, I had to go back and say, give me a new blueprint. When you're navigating through life, it's not a straight path, and we know that. But a lot of us start with the desire, we see the vision, but then the part where we get stuck is because as we're navigating through the journey, we're walking, we run into things that now don't look familiar. We're now in situations and in spaces that we're like, this is not what I signed up for. I didn't ask to be in this position. Wait, last time I saw the vision, I was over here. How did I end up here? And so we get stuck when we get to the unfamiliar part of the journey. And I know a lot of people are leaning on ChatGPT now. Like, oh, hey, if I get stuck, I could just write a prompt and figure it out. And that's true, right? ChatGPT can be of assistance. But think about this. If you're really trying to ask someone about yourself and you really want to know who knows me best, it's probably your mom. Your mom probably knows you best because she knew you when you were in her womb. And she remembers holding you. She remembers your temperament. She knows your temperament. She knows how you are. She knows your personality. She knows what you're really good at. As a child, a mother's job is to help that child grow and to enhance their skill sets, to help them maneuver through life, and to help them discover what they're good at. That is what a mother does. A good mother does. I would probably go to my mother before I go to my best friend, because my best friend, she knows a certain version of me. But the people around us in life, like our friends, we kind of have to train them on how to understand us. And when I say train, I mean like we teach people how to love us. We teach people how to understand us. And that comes through conversation, through spending time. But they don't truly know us. They only know the parts that we share. So the more that we share with them, the more that they know about us. And that's how ChatGPT is. The more that we share with it, the more it knows about us, but it doesn't really know us to the core like our mother does. Our mother knows us to the core. And so that's how God is. God knew us even before we were in our mother's womb. So he already knows exactly what you are equipped for. He knows exactly what you are excellent at. He knows what you would thrive in. He knows the path that you should go. And Chat just doesn't. Chat doesn't know. Chat is going to give you the best educated guess of where you currently are right now. But Chat really doesn't have any idea of where you're headed or what your future look like, but God does. So don't be afraid to allow prayer to be your navigator. I'm telling you, God is going to start to speak to you and reveal things about your journey, about your path, so you can figure out what's next and you can stop being stressed out. He said, come to him if you need wisdom. He'll go ahead and plant that wisdom in you. Along with spiritual guidance, I'm also going to give you practical guidance on how you can navigate through your journey, no matter where you are. I want you to write down a list of all the things you have accomplished. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It could be you accomplished graduating high school, becoming a mother, you learned how to ride a bike. Just write down a list of all the accomplishments. Maybe you never knew how to skate and you didn't know it was possible, and then you end up becoming an amazing skater. Or you struggle with, speaking or with speech in school, and now you're really learning how to become a really good speaker. So I want you to write down all of the accomplishments on one side of the page, okay? So you're gonna have a sheet of paper. On one side, you're gonna write down all of your accomplishments, because oftentimes we forget about how much we accomplish. I know for me, I will accomplish things and then throw it away. Accomplish things and then throw it away. Because my ideology was always like, okay, I'm only as good as my next accomplishment, which is also society pressure. I'm already good whether I accomplish anything else. You are already good whether you accomplish anything else. So after you write down all your accomplishments on one side of the paper, on the other side, I want you to write down all of your goals. All of the goals that are inside of you that keeps coming up. And even if you're like, Jen, I don't have any definitive goals. Okay, we'll take that time to create some and write it down. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to those accomplishments, and I want you to think about the mindset you had when you were completing those accomplishments, right? Because sometimes we forget about the journey and what happened on the journey before we actually accomplish the goal. Sometimes you have to go back to that determined, unstoppable 20 version of yourself and say, hey, I might be 45, but I still have the ability to be unstoppable because I already did it. So you're going to go through each of those accomplishments and say, okay, what type of mindset did I have? What was my train of thought? So I can go ahead and take that and apply it to my new goals. And yes, you might have old feelings of defeat. You might even recall some of the moments that, you failed and that didn't feel good. But then you look at your next accomplishment, because even through your failure, guess what? You kept achieving things. And so I want you to make sure that you never forget that you already have all of the tools inside of you. You already have them. Sometimes you just have to tap back into them. You just have to unlock them. You just have to revisit them so that you can go ahead and crush those goals, so that your desire can meet your vision, and boom, you are thriving. You're thriving in your purpose. You're thriving in your positioning, and you're doing exactly what God created you to do. In the comments below, I want you to write, what do you desire for your life? What are some things that you have always desired? It doesn't matter if it happened or not. Just share that, because I think the more that you speak those things out loud, the more that you put it out there in the atmosphere, the more things just come to you that's going to guide you and lead you in the right direction. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that I gave you some not only spiritual steps, but practical steps to seeing out how to navigate your own journey on your own timeline, because you are one of one. I'm rooting for you, and come back for more, okay? Because I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep these videos going as long as you're willing to take the ride with me. Till next time.